Hey guys, Chaps here, and today I'll be highlighting my top 3 issues with Gears 5. Later this week, I'm going to put out a more positive take where I'll discuss my 3 favorite things about Gears 5, so once that's live, I'll be sure to have it linked below. Before I get into the issues, I just wanted to preface with this. These are the top issues that affect me. I know there's a ton of other issues, but frankly, these are the ones that I feel impact me the most. Do us a favor though. Go down in the comments and list out your top 3 issues. I'm sure they're probably going to be different than mine, so let's just get some feedback out there. I'm going to kick off my list at number 3 with the lack of content. In terms of cosmetics, we arguably have more options now than we did in Gears 4, Gears 3, or any other Gears, but most of us feel like that's filler, and that's not really the focus here. What I'm talking about here are map count, character count, and options. Honestly, the map count at launch sounded great to me. 12 maps. We had 7 brand new ones and 5 remakes. But then we learned that the 5 remakes are pure ports, i.e. there's no significant changes or style updates, and they're not going to be in matchmaking. So this basically leaves us with 7 maps, which is the worst showing in the series besides Judgment. They say this was based on fan feedback, but I feel this is just another example of them hearing our feedback, but not really understanding our feedback. They heard people say that they didn't just want a ton of remakes, but I don't think they understood that people would rather have a remake over nothing. I will say though, they are starting to add some of the remakes back into matchmaking, so at least that's helping a little bit. You can ask anybody, and they'll tell you that the launch roster is pathetic. Not only that, but the lack of earning characters, not just skins, but actual characters, was nowhere to be found until this silly totem system appeared. Again, they heard the feedback from people asking for unlocks like Gears 3, but then they twisted that meaning to go completely off course from what people asked. So again, not truly understanding what fans want. They say that the lower roster is due to them needing to fully flesh out characters for Arcade, Horde, and Escape before releasing them. That's a nice excuse, but it's essentially just the result of TC digging a hole for themselves. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, the class-locked character thing deserves a whole video on its own. They're not really a huge issue for me, but the way they're dealt with really seems to be hindering the amount of content we have. It really seems like the Coalition is making their lives harder to do something that fans don't even want. The last part of this lack of content section has to deal with the lack of private options. Both Horde and Versus are plagued with unnecessary restrictions or lack of private options. We've heard that that stuff's coming, and that's great, but I can't help but feel that the Coalition just rushed through launch and is now drip-feeding us content that most people feel should have been in at launch. If they want people to support them by purchasing post-launch content, that's fine. But let's make it feel like actual post-launch content, and not stuff that should have been there at launch. I just can't help but get the feeling that the Coalition pushed this title out the door without giving themselves ample time to add features and polish off the game. And that brings us to number 2, which is the lack of polish and stability. The lack of polish is quite evident in many aspects of the game. There's things like escape leaderboards not working at launch. We have cards not unlocking properly. There's the events that get cancelled last minute. Oh, and not to mention the server instability. Like, can we please get through a title update or an event without the servers tanking on us? Gears 5 has been quite the turnoff for my friends and me, so when we're actually willing and able to play, it's kind of a big deal for us. But then, of course, we log on only to see that lovely "server allocation failed" message. I get it, network stuff can be hard, but this is a first-party AAA game, and this level of downtime is just absurd. I also want to point out that I'm not just talking about the launch stuff. Yeah, there were a ton of bugs present at launch, which have me baffled as to how they got into CERT, but even these title updates have objective bugs in them. Showcasing the unreleased characters? Yeah, that's kind of funny. How the COG Gears cards weren't unlocking? Yeah, not so much. As a fan of the series, it's truly both frustrating and sad to play this. It's almost impossible to boot up the game without having some glaring issue hit you right in the face. Alright, and now it's time for my number 1 issue. And that's the FOMO atmosphere that TC has created and seems to be embracing for the series. For those not familiar, FOMO is the fear of missing out. It's hard to boot up Gears 5 and not think, okay, what do I need to do today? I haven't finished my tour, so I need to grind stars. If I haven't finished my medals, I need to make sure I'm making progress towards those. Oh, I have boost? I should probably make sure that I'm making progress towards leveling my characters. What's that? Oh, there's a cool item in the store that's going away once it leaves. Oh man, now I'm stressed over if I should get that. Alright, that last one's kind of a joke to me, as I refuse to spend money on cosmetics, but to many, it's a real issue. This FOMO atmosphere creates a sense of artificial scarcity that's going to encourage people to make purchases. Gone are the days when I simply boot up the game to play what I want when I want. Now we have this emphasis on play every day and play in this particular way. It's stressful and it just isn't an environment that I enjoy. I can't play without having this feeling in the back of my mind like, oh, I'm missing out on something. A positive of this, though, is that this FOMO atmosphere is purely in my head, so I can change it. As I said before, TC has killed any sort of ambitious collector in me. So for that reason, I've decided that come Operation 2, I'm probably not even going to complete my tour of duty. I'll just log in and play for fun whenever I feel like it. It's kind of funny thinking about how the coalition system that's made to keep people coming back day after day, it's actually one of the main things that's driving true fans like me away from the series. Okay, so yeah, those are my top issues. Yeah, I didn't mention things like ranks or ping or class-locked characters or even the microtransactions really. But those just aren't the big hitters for me personally. I'm sure we'll see those pop up in some of your lists though. So again, let us know what your top 3 issues are down below. If you think we earned it, go ahead and drop this a like. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with our content. And as always, thanks for watching.